Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to FieldsChoice.com. We are back. Pete Cole here, back here with my man Wes for some college football. Already week 9, right? It was holy shit, it's already week 9 for college football. And going to be a little bit different today. So, first of all, I guess anybody's watching live. Most of you guys are going to be watching on demand. If you're watching live, ask any questions in the chat room. But we're going to go over the Thursday college football 2-game slate, Friday college football 2-game slate, and then a little special. We're going to also talk about some golf. Wes is our golf guy here at your Fielder's Choice, so I got a little special kind of preview core on that. But first of all, what's up, Wes? How you doing? What's going on in your life, DFS world?
Pretty good. How about yourself, man? Just grinding away.
Yeah, it's been I don't know if I just spilled something on my computer, but it's been a whirlwind. I mean, I was on a really good run in September, most of October. A tough one last week. College football isn't really good, but I struggled at NFL. Had a tough weekend, but the other sports we're crushing here at your Fielder's Choice. So if you don't know about us, we're kind of a new site. We've been around about a year. Check us out. YourFieldersChoice.com. Special right now, $25 a month for every sport, all sports included. That's for your first 2 months. We cover every sport. If DK or FanDuel cover it, we have an article or a cheat sheet on it. And right now, it's like the best part of the season. There's so much going on. We got NBA going on tonight. NHL, pretty much cashing probably 6 out of 7 days, pretty much. And NHL, MLB, so on. I have a free article on the World Series. Every article on World Series is gonna be free this week for showdowns. We've been doing well there. Your golf, you guys have been crushing. NASCAR, esports. What else we got? Soccer, European hoops. I see all the guys. So it's free Discord. You can check out our Twitter. Our Discord address is on there. But check us out. You can't beat it, especially for all these little sports. But yeah, we're here for college football and golf. So what's going on with golf this week? We have golf lock tomorrow morning, right? It's in Bermuda.
Yeah,
right?
It's in Bermuda, the Bermuda Championship. They're playing at Port Royal Golf Course. It's probably the shortest, if not the shortest, one of the shortest courses on the tour. It's par 71, about 6,800 yards. The past 2 winners, well, it's only been around for 2 years, and the scores were -24 and -15. So we're going to have some low scores this week. The past 2 winners have actually been only $63 and $7,300 here. And actually with all of the dropouts and using up all the alternates, they're down to 126 or 27 players this week. So you got an even better chance to get all 6 of your guys through.
This is yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is like 6,800 yard course. Yeah, so it's a small course. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did your article out yet? Do you have a core on your article or anything, or what?
No, I was going to put the core up after we got done with the show tonight, or give it away on the show tonight. But the article, we got it up last night. It's got the top plays on it, the guys I really like, and my pick to win this week. The top play, my top play, expensive play this week is Adam Hadwin. He's making his first appearance here. But he's coming in playing pretty good with 2 top 10 finishes in his last 5 tournaments. And he's very high in the ownership projections this week. So he's going to be a popular pick. And then after him, there's probably just a few of the expensive guys that I like. Hayden Buckley, he's played great on the KFT tour. He's just making his 4th PGA start. That's a good guy to look at. And then you can also throw in Matthew Fitzpatrick, Patrick Reed, and Mito Pereira. We'll talk about him some more later. most of the players that I like here this week are like 60, 77, $7,600 or less. All these guys are trying to earn some points so they can make it to the Tour Championship this year. Starting off with Russell Knox, he's $7,700. He's played this tournament both years, finishing 16th and 11th. He's gaining almost a half a shot on approach, and that's one of the keys here to be good at this course. And then also Alex Smalley, he's been one of my favorite values over some of the past tournaments. He's been 62, 6,300. Now they've got him priced up to 7,600 this week. And then we got a couple of value guys. Kramer Hickok, he's played here. He finished 8th last year, and he's below 7,400. And then Austin Cook, who's another guy coming off the KFT tour, making one of his first couple starts on the tour. And then, so what?
No, go ahead. I said, there you go. Got a couple good names. Go ahead.
This week, well, last week, Xander killed us in the first 2 rounds when I picked him. He ended up at even par and finishing midway. So this week, hopefully I don't ruin it for him. He had a 3rd place finish at the Fortinet Championship. This week, I'm picking Mito Pereira at plus 2,000. That's my pick to win this week. He's coming in off some really good finishes.
That was me, my pick. I did some research before the show, and I'm not a huge golf guy, but yeah, Pereira was actually. I think this is going to be it. He was actually my pick, but
well,
maybe somebody to play. Pete Island. How do you actually pronounce it? Island.
What's that?
He's Peter Island, $7,800. He's one of these guys that I know does well on some of these smaller contests, these smaller events. So that's another guy I had my eye on at $7,800. I'll do some of the research I was doing before. Matthew Naismith, but I don't see Naismith's price here.
$7,300.
Okay, there you go. I think Naismith's a good DPP play.
Yeah, if you look at recent trends, he's right in the price range of the past 2 winners.
Yeah, and if he can get his putting, if he starts rolling with his putter, what's he 70-1? Decent GPP play. These are GPP plays for me though. Naismith and Peter Island, and I probably just butchered his name though at 65-1, but some good stuff. So, and I said you guys have been doing really well on golf. So we're gonna make some more videos and some more live streams on golf, but there's something different today. Before college football. You have anything else to throw in there?
This week, my core would be Adam Hadwin, Russell Knox, and Smalley. Those 3 will be in every one of my lineups this week. That's my cash core.
And what's Smalley's price? I don't.
76.
I'm struggling with pricing. Where's Smalley's price?
7,600.
Okay. And this looks like a type of course, and we got plenty of these guys in the $7,000 range where we can jump up for guys like Pierre if we want. Another guy, Seamus Power. I think he's actually another strong target, and we know we can win. Another guy, who else? He said Danny Willett, won a Masters before. I don't mind Willett at 93 GBP play, but Pierre and Seamus Power, I think, a pretty good chance to win this, in my opinion.
Yeah,
take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, with a lot of guys coming over from the Euro Tour and guys coming up from the KFT Tour, trying to get their card, make a name for themselves. This is a good way to get some FedEx points. So these guys will be out here doing all they can to get a win and get a spot in the tournament at the end of the year.
Take a Boda too at 7,500. he finished. I see he finished third in this event, also 16th. Another one. He could probably be a cash play. He's 50 to 1. He's looking at like what? 14% ownership.
Yeah.
This is a name. So I actually might throw some golf lineups together here. I usually just it's early. I don't know. It's early for me. This time of year, I'm so intertwined with college football. I forget about golf in the morning, but cool. We'll have more golf content. We'll have some videos out. We got all kinds of golf articles. I see you guys have been crushing the LPGA too, huh?
Yeah, it's unfortunate they didn't have any contest this week because, man, I've made some good money off of LPGA the past few weeks.
Yeah, that's what I see. So maybe next week's show we can throw whatever the next time LPGA comes up. We can have a little. Let's see, you've been crushing that. So golf. Anybody that's golfers, good luck. I know you're here to watch college football, but I figure we throw that in there. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe I'll get lucky. I said I'm not a golf expert. Wes is our guy, but you never know. So college football. Last week we had games last Thursday, Friday, big slate on Saturday. We've been doing really well on those Saturday night slates plus Maine. Next week we have MAC starts in their weekday MAC games, so we got pretty much college football next week every day but Monday, I believe. So we'll have actually some more shows on the MAC. I think there's 3 games on Tuesday. I think 2 on Wednesday. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. So college football is going to be getting crazy the next few weeks with Halloween coming up. And then you know what that happens then after Halloween. Next, it's Thanksgiving. Then it's bowl games. We get in next, we're into college basketball. I said college football bowl games. It's Christmas. And next, we're in spring training, the best time of the year. So this gets us through all this until baseball season starts again. I guess those season's not even over with yet, but let's start with Thursday. This is weird. I'm not in love with these slates because to me they're more GPP slates on these, especially when they're only 2 gamers. Of course, you got Coastal Carolina. Yeah, go ahead.
These look like they would be fun showdown games.
And actually, and that's what it may turn out to be. I know the Coastal Carolina game is a showdown. That may be it. I think it's maybe the only showdown tomorrow. Coastal Carolina is coming off a loss, an upset to App State last week. So, but we got 2 games tomorrow night, both starting at 7:30. So we got the nice thing is they're both around the same over-unders, right? What do you have for the over-unders in these 2 games?
All right, for the Coastal Carolina Troy game, I got 51.5. And for the South Florida Eastern Carolina game, I got 56.5. Both of them have double-figure favorites too. Eastern Carolina is a 10-point favorite, and Coastal Carolina is a 17-point favorite.
This East Carolina South Florida game could actually be a good game. South Florida is coming off a record, historic rushing performance last week against Temple. So and South Florida is actually getting better. Coastal Carolina, I imagine, is going to come in pissed off. Troy's not a bad team, but I think Coastal Carolina is going to come in pissed off. They're going to roll all over them. So 2 major teams we got to look at for DFS is obviously Coastal Carolina, East Carolina. Both have been implied over 30, and then South Florida, what mid 20s. Troy, they're below 20. So let's look at the slate. We're just going to go position by position instead of games. And I'm not sure this is the way to go, but we're going to try that. They'll probably go very quickly. But so starting Thursday, quarterback. So we're going to talk about this like this is cash, but I'm just not sure if these are really cash slates because we got 4 quarterbacks on this, of course, in 2 games this slate. Grayson McCall, great quarterback, Coastal Carolina. Holton Allers, $300 less for East Carolina. Actually, I think maybe in a better spot than McCall. And then, so they're probably 2 cash plays. Well, I haven't built the lineup yet, so I maybe overstepped myself. But then we got 2 other guys, and Timmy McClain and Gunnar Watson, who I really don't have much interest in quarterback. So any of these guys, Grayson McCall, Holton Allers, I mean, does anybody, I don't know, putting you on a spot? Any of these guys you like better than the other?
as far as looking at the numbers, those are the only two guys that, that stick out at all. The other two, one of them's got 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They don't stick out at all. And it looks like all of these Coastal Carolina guys are super expensive too.
That's gonna be the problem. Get them all in cash. And we're gonna want as many as we can. First, on East Carolina is coming off. It's a short turnaround, and they're coming off a loss. It's kind of a heartbreaking loss to Houston. They had a 5-hour weather delay, so they got all screwed up. They traveled. They usually practice in pads on Sunday night, and they didn't even practice Sunday night, and they got back. They didn't get back to early Sunday morning. Instead, that was an overtime loss, and it then went overtime, 31-24 to Houston. And then, and ECU's coach, Mike Houston's a real intense guy. Yeah, and then they had a tough practice on Monday instead of in pads on Sunday. But I do like Holm Allers here. I'm seeing that he is projected more than McCall, because the question is, I think this is the type of slate where we probably want to get both, or we get both of these guys in, or maybe it's a type of slate where we get one of these quarterbacks and run the super flex and a running back, because they're both very expensive. So, yeah. Holton Allers, he's up and down. Against Houston, he was good. He was solid. 23 for 37, 278 yards, 2 scores. But it was actually, that was the first game that they've lost in which he didn't throw an interception. And he got 6 interceptions on the year. 4 of them came in losses to App State, South Carolina, and UCF. So if Allers can go again, he had a good game and not throw any picks, Allers would be my top Allers probably would be my top quarterback, even though McCall's probably going to be the popular play. But it's so close because Grayson McCall is Grayson McCall. Looking at kind of matchups here, Troy's a tough defense, man. Talking about Coach Carroll, Troy's only giving up 191 passing yards, which is not awesome. It's not horrible. They're only giving up 94 yards on the ground. And then going on the Allers, he's facing South Florida, who's giving up, 275 yards per game, which is probably 120th in the nation. So, Allers is facing a much worse pass defense than McCall is. South Florida's also given up 226 rushing yards. So South Florida's been a mess. Getting better, but they've been a mess. So to me, Allers is the top play. It's $300 less. But I think McCall, because a name, is going to be the popular play out of these 2 main teams here. The other quarterbacks, you just don't mess with them. Possibly in GPPs. You can mess, especially with the kid from Troy, Gunnar Watson. What's Gunnar Watson, 5'2"?
Yeah,
he's been actually. They've won back-to-back because he's been filling in for Taylor Powell, and I'm assuming he's got starting out again. Because let me see, in those 2 games now, he's completed 73% of his passes, 521 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So Watson, not a bad GVP play. So I don't know. I can't see using him in cash. I really can't. I might even am going with a guy like Timmy McLean. But Watson's gonna be relying on guys like Tez Johnson, his main receiver. So and they were that Richard Tide. So McCall, to me, Allers 1, McCall 2. If you can get them both in cash, you use them. And then I guess Gunnar Watson and McLean. Running back, I don't have any ownership projections yet. Running back though, we got some decent runners on this slate. We got I'm looking at 6 runners that you could use pretty much in your main lineup. And maybe this is the way you get McCall and Allers in your lineup, is using some of these cheaper guys. Because I think when it's all said, I think Caton Mitchell is for ECU is probably the best runner on a slate, but he's also 6'1". But do we have to use him? I don't think so. He's actually third in nation right now, 7.69 yards per carry. Only behind Trevion Henderson of Ohio State and Jay Sean Corbin of FSU. So, but he's 6'1". And because remember, we said ECU is going up against South Florida, is getting up 226 rushing yards a game. So maybe if we in cash, if we don't use Caton Mitchell, we have Raj Harris, who's sitting there at only 4.2. And I mean, Harris, what the last game against Houston, he touched the ball 12 times, and Mitchell only touched the ball 11 times. I mean, 37 yards, but the game before that, he touched the ball 13 times for 73 yards. That was like UCF. And the game before that, touched the ball 20 times for 70 yards against Tulane. So I think Raj Harris would maybe one of your avenues of getting two big quarterbacks in and using him at running back instead of Keaton Mitchell.
Who would you go? Would you go with the $6,000 guy with him, or would you go down to Woods, who's he's averaging he's got 5 touchdowns this year, averaging about 13 fantasy points a game
for Troy.
Yeah, for Troy, Jamontez Woods.
The only problem is Woods' last game against Georgia Southern touched the ball. We had 10 snaps, touched the ball 9 times, 98 yards. Got to remember, they're going up against Coast Carolina, too. And Coast Carolina right now, well, Coast Carolina is allowing 143 yards per game, which is not a shutdown defense. But that's not a bad call. That's not a bad call at all, but I would probably go with knowing how bad South Florida is, going with a Harris at 4.2, and Woods though would be a great GBP play. I don't mind that call at all, because Troy's a problem in Troy is Troy's got some pretty good other running backs. I mean, Kamani Vidal is really good. Then you got BJ Smith. Actually, BJ Smith is only 3.5. Troy State's got some decent runners. So let me see. BJ Smith is over Smith's last 2 games, kind of like Woods. He's got 100, and Smith's a senior, 158 rushing yards and a touchdown on 30 carries. And he was out for a game, and he came back at 21 snaps. So before Smith got hurt, he was splitting time with Vidal. So that's the problem on this slate. You have a lot of decent running backs, but they're all, once again, we have a lot of RBBCs this year in college football. There's very few bell cows. But put that Woods call in the back of your pocket as a nice GPP play. But I imagine cash. I probably would ever go like with the Vidals or the BJ Smiths. But maybe even ECU, you run both of these guys, Harris and Mitchell, against this bad South Florida defense, 6'1" and 4.2. Shamari Jones for Coastal Carolina. The problem with Shamari Jones is he's so damn expensive. He's at $7K. And then if anything, use Reese White, who's only $5K. And White's actually probably been playing a little better. You got to watch because on DK, White is cheaper than Shamari Jones. On FanDuel, never mind, White's cheaper than Shamari Jones on both of them. But this is going to be the decision to make on running backs in this slate is you always use Coastal Carolina runners because they probably are the best backfield duo outside Power 5. But you got some really good value here. I said with Raj Harris, we didn't talk about USF yet. So this is probably where you can get different on this slate, where it may be a better cash slate than I thought it was. Because now going to USF totally last week, totally shut down Temple. Even though they lost, it was a heartbreaking loss. Jaron Mangum and Kelly Joyner both rushed over 100 yards, both averaged over 5 yards per carry. The team averaged 420. They actually had 421 yards on the ground last week, USF. Now, East Carolina is not Temple. They're only allowing 161 yards per game. But these guys, I mean, are all in play. Mangum's in play at 6'3". I'm not going to pay that much because of the price of the quarterbacks. But I should start trying to build lineups before I actually do this show and see how it actually comes out. But most of these guys damaged. I mean, this USF running backs are good. Against Florida A&M, they had like over 400 yards too, I think. So this is probably confusing with so many decent runners in this slate. I'd probably say your top runner is going to be probably if you want to go point per dollar, I'd probably going to go Raj Harris for ECU at 4.2, and then if you can or go both ECU guys with Keith Mitchell, or slide like a Reese White, maybe use a Raj Harris and Reese White for Coastal Carolina as your two. They're decent. If you want to be different, BJ Smith. Your call there, Jamontez Woods for Troy, who's got some TDs, especially in GPPs at 3.6. And definitely GPPs, these USF guys. Because Jaron Mangum, you see his last 4 games, his Temple ran about 25 times, 153. Tulsa, 13 times, 75. SMU, 11 times for 21. Real good runners on the slate. And you can be different, and this could be the way you'd be contrarian and differentiate yourself from the rest of the slate. All right, receivers. I think we may have even a similar situation with receivers. We have like 4 or 5 decent receivers on the slate. I think we probably want to use our runners in flex. But receivers, it's all about Coastal Carolina, right? I mean, it's anybody's popped out to you on the receivers. We got some studs here.
Yeah, the two studs for Coastal Carolina are the most expensive ones at 77 and 73. I mean, both of them are averaging about the same fantasy points a game. Likely, I mean, with 8 touchdowns, you got touchdown upside.
And he had that huge game like two games ago. We had like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think you probably want at least one of the Coastal Carolina guys. I'm not sure if you can get 2 in. So I think the question is going to be, who do you want, Hiley or Isaiah Likely? Hiley's your guy. Hiley's more expensive, right? I'm assuming Hiley's more expensive, right?
Hiley is 73. Likely is 77. I mean, Hiley's got more receptions, a few more yards, just less touchdowns.
I mean, both of those guys. Hiley leads the Sun Belt in yardage. 19.3 yards per reception. Second in receptions, 35. Second receiving yards, 676. Third with TDs. Then you got Likely coming with 29 receptions, 545 yards, and leads the league with 8 TDs. So take your choice. I probably would take Likely, highly over Likely. I'm sorry, if I can get him as my top receiver, and then Likely's more of a GPP play, and then you want to go drop a little bit, and I think you want to piece this East Carolina of attack with South Florida allowing 275 yards per game. But on the other hand, that same game, East Carolina is allowing almost 300 yards per game in the air. So is there any cheap receivers from East Carolina or South Florida we got to look at? And I think
for East Carolina, probably CJ Johnson, and maybe for South Florida, Jimmy Horn Jr.
Good call, Jimmy Horn Jr. 3.9.
Yeah.
South Florida's cheap. Think about piece of VCU. Tyler Snead at 5.9. Maybe a little bit expensive. The problem is CJ Johnson. These guys, well, I like him on. Okay, let's look at CJ Johnson first. Your call. So what's CJ Johnson? What's his price? 4-5.
Yeah, it's a little more.
I mean, there's no doubt Johnson has struggled this season, which we thought we were going to have a better season out of CJ Johnson. He's only got one touchdown, but we saw what he had last year. He had 19 receptions last year, 405 yards, 6 touchdowns as a sophomore. So we know he's got it in him. We know Ayler is a decent enough quarterback. And he's coming off a game with 5 receptions, 3 catches, 46. But the main thing is his price of 4-5. Good call. But do you go up or do you go down $200 to Audi Omotosho? He's got 4 catches in 3 straight. 4 catches in 3 straight, where Johnson didn't have a catch in the game before that.
Right.
He actually leads the team in pass routes over the last 2 games. He's a senior, but he's a senior. Now Omotosho, I believe, lines up on the outside. And you can burn South Florida's cornerbacks. I know that. So, yeah, I got stat here. They've allowed 47 receptions, 727 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns to wideouts this season, 7 games. So, yeah, Audi Omotosho is probably the better play, but CJ Johnson is probably the better talent. Johnson just hasn't put together yet. So, another great good GDP call. And Tyler Snead is still sitting there at 5-9. Snead's really the WR1. I mean, 10 targets last game, 7 catches, 10 targets against UCF, 6 catches, 7 targets. Tulsa, 4 catches. But Snead is also 5'9". So I don't think it might be tough to get Snead in if we're going with Hiley. So we probably run a Hiley, Omotosho, GDP, like a Hiley, CJ Johnson. Now, and leave the Isaiah Likely's from CC to GDPs. Now, as a third receiver, we do have Tez Johnson from Troy, he's 5'5". But if you're going to go up that much, I might as well go Tyler Snead. Maybe we look at one of these USF guys, like you mentioned, Jimmy Horn, Xavier Weaver. What's Jimmy Horn's price?
3-9.
Okay, Weaver's 4-8. So Weaver last game, Weaver didn't play week 8. Horn did. Horn 8 targets, 7 catches against Temple. Decent game, 56. Week 7, Horn 4 targets, didn't then make a catch against Tulsa. Weaver 6 targets, 4 catches, 52 yards. Before that, SMU, Horn 4 targets, Horn 5 targets, 5 catches, 102 yards. Weaver 6 targets, 3 catches, 34. Yeah, maybe Jimmy Horn's not a bad play at 3-9. I might be able to get you Horn. I mean, Horn's seeing the targets, 8 targets, 12. So he's got like 17, like 5, at least 5 or 6 targets a game. Not a bad for 3-9.
Yeah.
So
Should
yeah,
be
good call there. I like that. I actually like that. Some other guys just to consider. We got, I said, Tyler Snead, Cam Brown. Cameron Brown for CC. He's a WR3, actually WR2 because likely he's a tight end for Coastal Carolina. I mentioned Tez Johnson for Troy, who I like at 5'5". You mentioned Xavier Weaver. Now I'm seeing though that Xavier Weaver is questionable. If Xavier Weaver doesn't play, definitely Jimmy Horn. Luke Whittemore for Troy. DeMarcus Gregory. Maybe DeMarcus Gregory's a all GVP plays for USF 3-6. So, yeah, good stuff there. So you had a good call there in Horn. So I would say if you can get Hialeah as a WR1, if I drop down to like to Audi Omotosho, if you can't get Snead in, and then maybe run back with like a Jimmy Horn Jr. for USF. Because East Carolina does not have a good secondary. They said they're allowing 297 yards per game in the air. All right, so that's our Thursday slate. Boom. Now let's go Friday. Once again, 2-game slate. if I can call Friday up here.
Yeah.
And again, we have you got odds in front of you?
Yes.
Or no? All right.
For
What do we got here?
A Navy Tulsa game, we've got a implied total of 47. Tulsa is an 11-point favorite. And the UNLV Nevada game, Nevada is a 20.5-point favorite with a 58 over under.
All right. So this slate is all about, I'm still trying to call my numbers up, but this slate's all about Nevada. We want to get as much as we probably want to get as much as of the Nevada offense as we can in as possible. So quarterbacks. Most people that play college football are aware of Carson Strong. Strong's a stud. So you're playing cash, you want Carson Strong in your lineup. He's 9-2 though. But Carson Strong is Carson Strong. Last week against Fresno State, man, they got beat. It was a tough game, but we used Carson Strong a lot last year. We played him a lot early in the season. He 61 attempts, 49 completions. It's pretty damn good. That's better than 80%, I believe. Now, this is also a night when the Nevada run game just made them look horrible. But made Fresno State look like a stellar defense. But Strong doesn't exactly have the greatest offensive line, and he still went back beyond that line 61 times, completing 49 passes, and just had a huge game. Romeo Daubs, his number one receiver, was just awesome in that game. He tied a school record, 19 receptions, 203 yards, and a touchdown. You want both of them in your main lineup for Friday night.
19.
I mean, he's a stud. I mean, I watched by that game. I mean, he ran long routes. He ran short routes, crossing routes, screens, slants. I mean, he was it's my daughter. Both my daughters are big in Florida girls football, and they're into all these. They're still studying their plays and stuff. They just got done. Now we have another national championships coming up, but they're talking about they're watching his button hooks, his flares, his posts he's pulling. So Dobbs is like perfect receiver that night. You want somebody to watch, and Fresno State couldn't stop him. They knew he was a primary target, try to stop him, and they couldn't. This week, now Dobbs is 7-9. You want to lock your laps to start Strong and Dobbs, and try to build around those two. So, and once again, this is an offensive line that can't block at all. So where do we go for our second quarterback in this slate? And it's pretty interesting because the popular play is probably going to be Davis Brin from Tulsa. I'm assuming Brin has been playing bad. I mean, what are they favored by?
So, Tulsa is favored by 11.
And okay, once again, they're going against Navy. Navy, not a lot of snaps, not a lot of plays. Brin, decent week last week against USF, though, 2 touchdowns, but also 2 picks. So before that, Memphis, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But before that, Houston, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. I may be on the outside, but this one kid I have interest in is rookie for UNLV. Cameron Friel is only 5'5".
Brumfield's not starting.
No. Now Cameron Friel was not supposed to be playing. I mean, this soon. He wasn't supposed to be, and he wasn't supposed to be developing this quick. But This is a team hasn't won a game. They played really well last week at San Jose State. It was probably his most complete game of the year. And he really and I was seeing comments by UNLV's coach, what's his name? Marcus Arroyo. Marcus Arroyo was saying he was really surprised too, but they anticipate this when the season began. Because Brunfield's been dealing Dougie Brunfield's been dealing with his back injury, which has allowed Field to play. And this is Field's fourth start, I believe. He 20 for 28, 240, and a touchdown. And they nearly drove the length of the field to tie the game in the fourth quarter. And they could have very well won that game. He's getting better every game. Against Iowa State, I mean, he was timid. He was gun shy, but it's Iowa State. He only had 67 passing yards, interception, 13 attempts. But ever since then, he's played much better. And he's getting a better feel for his offensive line, better feel for his receivers. And his quarterback rating was 155 on Thursday night. So, and one thing I'm seeing here, and when the beat was saying, I noticed in the game, he's no longer bailing from the pocket. If his first read is covered, he's not bailing in a pocket anymore. So he's passing through his progressions and all that. I like that. And then showed against Fresno State, showed against Texas San Antonio. So now he's going up against Nevada, who is giving up. What's Nevada giving up?
They're giving up 379 yards a game.
So
no,
wow, 244.
244 yards per game.
Which Nevada's not,
I mean,
maybe more of a GPP play. I kind of like this Cameron Field at 5.5, and I might be able to get who I want, or I know what people have been using has been working lately, just using running back as super flex because Davis Brin really doesn't impress me much.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams give up one over 4 and one almost 400 yards a game.
So maybe I like the call. I like to play this kid, and then we didn't even bring up the Navy quarterback, Ty Lavatai. We talked about him last week. I think 2 weeks ago. Runs that triple option Navy now. Pretty much a job is his, and he's been getting the job done. I mean, he's a runner. He's a tough kid. He's really impressed me from what I've seen. He did struggle. He did struggle against Memphis, but looked better against Cincinnati. He actually threw the ball 11 times against Cincinnati, 15 times, and completed 11 passes. So. And he's running right against Cincinnati, ran about 21 times, only 22 yards with 2 touchdowns. So he probably got sacked there, but 2 TDs. So Lavatai's in play too. So some cool quarterbacks here for GBPs. I may go Strong and Fryle. Maybe I said Brin's doesn't impress me, or go maybe running back in that other spot. All right, so let's go to running backs now, and there is one guy on the slate that is actually a true bell cow, and you don't see that too much in college football anymore. It is Charles Williams for UNLV. Now, what's Nevada giving up on the ground? Nevada's not a bad defense.
They're giving up 146 yards a game on the ground.
So it's better than you.
I mean, still, that's almost 150 yards a game.
And Williams, let me see. Last week, San Jose touched about 24 times, 91 yards, touchdown. Week before that, Utah State, 27 times, 3 touchdowns, 221 yards. I think that was the week I sat him that week. That was the weekday game. And then week 5, 15 times for 43. The problem is, 6.2 isn't bad. It's not a bad price. Can you get Williams in using Carson Strong and Downs? If not, a couple other running backs here that you might want to use Williams, but I'm looking at these other prices. Anybody else you like here with Toa, Shamari, Brooks are all the same price too, pretty much.
Yeah, Brooks is $6,700. Toa is $5,600. I mean, if you're going to pay up for a running back, you might as well pay up for somebody who's going to touch the ball 25 times.
So you pay up for the bell cow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Toa is a bell cow. I guess you can consider him close enough. Toa is, well, last game 12. I mean, Devontae Lee's right there with him. I kind of like Devontae. I like Devontae Lee at 3.8. So what about Deneric Prince? Only 4.8. Deneric Prince is a transferred from Texas A&M, plays for Tulsa now. Now, in 5 games, he's got 200-yard games, 3 touchdowns, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. And when you got Prince at 4.8, I'm not going to pay 6.7 for Shamari Brooks, even though, I mean, Brooks is coming off 2 big games, though. Last game, USF, Brooks, but USF, 23 touches, 145, 2 touchdowns. Memphis, 26 to 126, 2. And Prince, though, same game as USF touched about 19 times for 110. I select Deneric Prince. I'm gonna play Charles Williams over Shamari Brooks. So Toa's in play, I guess, at 5.6. You said UNLV. Who's got the I just being the worst? UNLV has got the worst rush defense. They got now on 159. So maybe Toa is a better play. Me think at 5.6.
What about Devontae Lee at 3.8?
That's you just took the words out of my mouth. But when you still got Devontae Lee, rearing his head. Last game, they only touched the ball 3 times, but the game before that, New Mexico State.
Well, he only touched
11 times, but I don't think Tua played that game.
But he only ran the ball 11 times, but he ran the ball 3 times, but had 5 receptions. So
nice call. That's a good call there. I'm just looking at rushing here. It's a good call. And then for some reason, I'm thinking Lee missed the Hawaii game. Lee's a good play. I'm just gonna actually look now. So like if you play a Carson Strong and you play Friel, and then you play can you play Charles Williams and Daubs? Are you going to get stuck with a bunch of scrubs? I'm just trying to do a quick.
If you put Lee in, you got 6,300 each for your 2 receivers you got left.
Unless you go receiver and flex.
Yeah,
I do like the Deneric Prince at 4.8. I think your running back should probably be Deneric Prince and Charles Williams, but then go back. No problem at all running Devontae Lee at 3 if you need it, especially when he's catching balls out of backfield against a bad UNLV rush defense and not the greatest pass defense either. Obviously, when they give him 289 yards per game, so good call. Anybody else running backs? Great. Isaac Rouse, the fullback for Navy. James Harris is really the RB1, but actually Rouse Mark Spencer now, but Rouse is actually the one seeing the ball. Chance Warren, Navy, nah. So there's your plays. Your top plays either Charles Williams or Shamari Brooks for Tulsa. Then you got Toa for Nevada, who we like, or you can use Devontae Lee. But I do like Deneric Prince at 4.8. I think Deneric Prince got a great price at 4.8. All right, let's end up this puppy with receivers. And we already mentioned Romeo Doubs. To me, he's a core. He's a lock play. Lock him in. Now, you're either going to go 3 receivers or you're going to go 4 with 1 or flex. And I really do think you need at least 2 or 3 Nevada receivers in your lineup. When they're going up against this UNLV team that is just giving up crazy 289 yards per game. And you got to make a choice over. There's a lot of them here. So actually, I had the numbers up. The 4 of them between Daubs Yeah, Daubs, but then Cole Turner, who's 7'2", expensive. Melquan Stovall, who's 5'1", not bad. Justin Lockhart, 6'0". These guys aren't cheap. All four of these guys are among the top 15 in Mountain West receiving. They combined for 12 of their 21 touchdowns. But I do think you need one of Daubs and them in there, unless you're on like a Torrey Horton at 4-1. But he's not. You probably want one of the better guys. I would probably run Stovall or Horton as my second Nevada guy. Look at Stovall. His last game, 2 targets, 2 catches. Horton, eight targets, 6 catches. But the game before that, Stovall, 8 targets, 7. Horton, 3 targets, 3. So apples, whatever it's hard to say, apples, oranges. I think you want to use one of Stovall and Horton as your second Nevada receiver. Stovall's been the safer play, it looks like, if you can get him in there. But you want 2 or 3 Nevada receivers in that lineup. Yeah, I think.
What do you think about Josh Johnson? I mean, he's got 8 catches in 4 of his last 5 games.
Yeah, and Josh Johnson's actually the other transfer that Tulsa's brought over. He came from Iowa State. I know he started at Ohio State. Good year. I mean, he's hit 100 yards 3 times in the past 5 games. Against Ohio State, he had 149. Yeah, he leads the team with 592 yards. So Josh Johnson, 6'5", though. I don't know if you want when you got Justin Lockhart only 6. The Nevada guy 6K or 5'1". Johnson's definitely in play, but probably one of your top DVP plays. He's having a hell of a season. Sam Crawford Jr. has always been around though too. He gets his last game 6 targets, 4 targets, 8 targets. I do like that. I like the Josh Johnson call though. I know something you can get him in your cash though with Daubs at 7'9" and Carson Strong. You can try. So you pretty much want Nevada and Tulsa receivers in your lineup. Anybody else you can slide in there? Maybe a Kyle Williams for UNLV, but he's 4'9". Juan Carlos Santana, but he's the big play guy. Stevie Jenkins 4'6". That might be a sneaky play. Stevie Jenkins for UNLV. I just had 7 targets last game. Kyle Williams at 8. Jenkins 6 catches. Kyle Williams 7. So maybe you need money. You can use Jenkins at 4'6". You can do a lineup with like a Jenkins, Torrey Horton or Stovall with Romeo Dabb, something like that. I think actually you can build I think it may be easier to build a lineup on this slate than you can on the Thursday slate. I see you're building one now, so I think might be if trio comes together, the quarterback for the young quarterback for UNLV, I think you could put a decent lineup together with Strong, like you said, with Williams, Deneric Prince, Daubs. You want to fit Johnson over one of the Nevada guys, that might be the way to be contrarian and be different. So you call. All right, that's pretty much it. And thanks, Chris. I see Chris is on online. Okay. PrizePicks. Let's do PrizePicks. So actually, you know what? No, let's wrap this up quick because we probably confused shit out of people. So first of all, go back to Thursday. Thursday, if there is a core, who are my core plays going to be? I think you need one of Grayson McCall, Holt, and Allers in your lineup. I'm kind of leaning Allers. McCall's the man, though. I mean, so I don't know if you get both in, great, but I like Holt and Allers. And then you want at least probably
one of the ECU running backs. Was
and a Coastal Carolina receiver like a Hiley. You probably want Hiley in that main lineup. And one of the ECU running backs like a Harris or Mitchell, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The slate we just talked about, the Friday slate, which may be a little bit easier to navigate. Carson Strong, Romeo Doubs, they're your core. And then you want you can mess around. You like Josh Johnson, no problem with. Charles Williams, I think, is a great play because he's a bell cow.
Prince would probably be a core too.
Prince at 4-8, yeah. Like it. All right. So let's look at PrizePicks real quick.
All right.
Out here. Look at that. Make it an hour. Is PrizePicks up? Yeah. So anything looking at PrizePicks right now, we got Grayson McCall 260. First of all, what is I just wanted to go back quick and see what these teams are giving up a game. Hold on here. With
Troy's not giving. They've got a good defense. They're like 20th, 24th in the country on defense.
So I think I'm leaning hours. So with South Florida giving up 275 a game, the whole game could end up being a shootout. So maybe we roll a Holton Allers over 258 passing yards. I would maybe take the over on that one.
Yeah.
Rushing yards. They have Taylor Powell minus 16.5 rushing yards. I know he's the quarterback. So they're expecting that Coastal Carolina is going to sack him that much over minus 16.5.
Wow.
So you take the over on that. All you need is him to do is get a minus 16.4, 16 yards, and you got it.
I like the.
I don't think I've ever seen it before.
I like the Harris over 49.5.
That was the other one I was going to look at. Yep. Harris over 49.5. Take that. Receiving yards, I'd probably take Javon Hiley over 76.5 just because he seems to always do it.
And then for
Doubs
Friday,
over 86.
Doubs over 86.
What about your boy Jimmy Horn over 36.5, especially if Weaver's out?
Yeah, that would be an easy one.
Jimmy Horn should really get that 36.5 for USF. That might be a sneaky play. He did 2 weeks ago. He had 102 yards. Last week, 7 targets, 7 catches, 56. But if Weaver's out, definitely take the Horn over. So there's a couple plays. I'll have more. I'll have right up tomorrow for Thursday night. I'll write for Friday also, but I'll have more time to look at PrizePicks and have them in the article. And we'll also have them in our free PrizePick article every day. All right. That is it. Nobody has any questions. This is going to be on demand more. Check us out. You can, it's free Discord. It is discord.gg/your fearless choice. Ask us any questions you want. $25 a month. First 2 months, every sport is covered. So we're totally crushing this college football. College basketball is coming up in less than 2 weeks. So it's going to get crazy around here, especially with these shows. We have some soccer shows coming up. Hopefully more golf next week. Good luck on golf tomorrow, Wes.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's it. Any comments you want?
No, man. Everybody, good luck.
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for Mickey, our producer. Thank you for GB in the back room, retracting messages. And boom, we're out of here. Deuces. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.